Before you click buy for your Disney World vacation, protect your wallet and watch this video, because we might be able to save you from spending money on something you don't actually need. Hey everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Blog. Now, you need theme park tickets to go to Disney World, and a hotel room probably, and plane tickets maybe, and money for food, but Disney wants to make your trip 10 times better by offering you all these upgrades to plush up your visit. We're talking shorter ride lines, more park hours, behind-the-scenes access, and way more convenience. And while these upgrades sound nice, investing in each and every one of them is going to put you out thousands of dollars in the end. So what we're going to do today is rank Disney's vacation upgrades from our personal best to worst, so you can see which extras you might want to save for and which ones you're better off skipping. Keep in mind that every group is different, so even if something is ranked lower on this list, I'll be sure to tell you what kinds of folks this upgrade will still be useful for, and the same rules apply for the best upgrades too. These won't be for everybody, so if they're useful for us, they may not be the best investment for you. That's why we're going to give you all the information you need to make the best choices. We're going to start out with our best upgrade, the one we love, and that's after hours events. Starting off on a high note with the DFB team's personal favorite upgrade, those after hours. These are so fun. Disney after hours are ticketed events that take place after regular Disney park hours and let you experience several park attractions for around 3 extra hours after park closing. Because these events are capped off for a limited number of guests, you can expect much shorter wait times, complimentary and exclusive eats and drinks, and maybe even some rare character sighting opportunities. Not to mention, even though the events technically kick off after the parks close, guests can still arrive a couple hours early for what they kind of call a pre-party mix-in, meaning if you're going to a park that has a nighttime spectacular, you can still watch that even without a regular day ticket. You'll want to look on the Disney World website and find out the specifics of how early you can start arriving to the park. And if you're nervous about going to one of the parks during the day because of the heat and lines and heat, then after hours can be a super worthy investment because you'll have way fewer lines to worry about, plus the sun will set, so the temperature won't be nearly as intense. And one of the best parts about after hours, if you go to a park that's currently using virtual queues for their new rides like Magic Kingdom and Epcot, those virtual queues transform into regular standby queues, meaning you could get in line for Cosmic Rewind over and over and over again. So, as promised, I gotta give you the downsides of this upgrade. And while everything sounds hunky-dory right now, there are definitely some downsides you want to consider. First of all, even though you're gonna be spending less time overall in the parks if you're just sticking with those after-hours tickets and skipping the regular day park ticket, you're not gonna be saving yourself any money, really, because those after-hours tickets are just as expensive, if not more so, than a regular day park ticket. In 2025, here are what after-hours schedules and prices are going to look like. For Hollywood Studios, after-hours events will take place on select nights between January 22nd and September 3rd and are going to cost $155 to $185 per ticket. For Epcot, after hours will take place on certain nights between February 27th and September 25th, and they cost $155 to $175 per ticket. For Magic Kingdom, after hours will take place on select nights between January 6th and May 19th, with prices between $175 and $185 per ticket. And for Animal Kingdom, well, we don't have after hours dates available for next year for this park yet. They usually announce it a little bit later. We just got the dates for 2024 recently, so we'll let you know the status of that as it changes. Also keep in mind that after hours will have most rides open, but will not have their usual live entertainment happening. And that can be a real bummer when you go somewhere like Hollywood Studios, which usually has a lot of live entertainment going on, like the Frozen Sing-Along Celebration and Indiana Jones Epic Stunt Spectacular, Beauty and the Beast live on stage, and Disney Junior Dance Party, and the soon-to-be Little Mermaid, a musical adventure, opening this fall. Not to mention, these events happen late, real late, as in you'll be wrapping up your time here by 12:30 a.m. or 1 a.m. So if you've got little kids in your party who will have to stay up way past their bedtime to experience this, you might have some super cranky travelers with you struggling to catch up on sleep for the remainder of your trip. This is a big reason why I didn't do after hours when my kid was small, obviously. I often went to Disney World with him alone, and although I knew after hours was going to give us the chance to ride his favorite rides with no lines, I just couldn't risk having him be up till 1 o'clock in the morning because I knew it would be a nightmare the next day. And that doesn't just apply to the young folks. That applies to everybody, because if you're up until 1 to 2 a.m. for an event, and then you got to turn around and wake up before 7 a.m. to grab a virtual queue for another park, you're going to start running on fumes. And while I'm absolutely enamored by the idea of grabbing as many Mickey premium bars and ice cream sandwiches and fruit bars and bags of popcorn and bottles of soda and water throughout the night as I care to enjoy, it's also important to note that standard food offerings can be super limited at these after-hours events. So you'll definitely want to have dinner before the party starts up so you're not scrambling for sustenance while you're in the thick of things. So, yep, after hours is great for us. We love skipping the long lines for rides and stuffing our faces with complimentary popcorn and Mickey premium bars and soda. But if you've got a certain bedtime routine you need to adhere to, or if you don't want to miss out on all that wonderful live entertainment, then you really need to think this upgrade over before you buy. Getting the silver medal here today is something very similar to after-hours events, and that's the holiday parties. Holiday parties are similar to after-hours. They're just a whole lot more festive. Their timelines are also different. From August to October, you can visit Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party in Magic Kingdom, and then in November and December, we've got Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party in Magic Kingdom and Jollywood Nights in Hollywood Studios. That means you've still got time to purchase a holiday party ticket if you're planning on going to Disney World before the end of the year. At Magic Kingdom, the holiday parties start up their festivities around 7 p.m., but all party guests are able to enter the park as early as 4 p.m. Meanwhile, for Jollywood Nights, the festive shindig starts around 7:30 p.m., but you'll be able to enter the park as early as 6. You'll get to stay until midnight on party nights at Magic Kingdom and up till 12:30 a.m. at Hollywood Studios, which means you'll still have to deal with some tuckered out kids and parents. Make sure to plan out your trip's itinerary accordingly so you don't have to wake up all bright and early after a party night. Again, the regular live entertainment is probably not going to be in full swing during the parties, but there will be lots of exclusive live entertainment to experience instead. Each holiday party has its own stage shows and parade and fireworks that are unique to that event. That stuff doesn't happen during after-hours events. You'll also find a variety of very unique character meet and greets spread around the park, like Jack and Sally and Moana, the Disney Princes, etc. The entertainment is the main draw for these parties, which means you'll more than likely experience much shorter waits for the rides, which, yes, will remain open during the parties too. But rare character meet and greets and select entertainment offerings can still see major crowds, so just watch out for those. And while you won't be able to fill up on complimentary popcorn and Mickey bars and soda during these parties like you can during the after-hours events, Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party features select spots around the park to trick or treat and fill up a bag with complimentary candy, and Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party offers complimentary cookies and cocoa, eggnog, and apple cider. So while I'm giving the holiday parties the second place title when it comes to best upgrades, it all really depends on you and what your group prefers. If your family is very entertainment forward, then you'll want to make sure you hit up those holiday parties, especially if you're looking to do everything the holiday season has to offer. But if you're just wanting to crank out a bunch of rides with really low wait times, you'll want to head to the after hours events instead, because you can get a lot done in a short amount of time, and you'll see the parks emptier than you probably ever have before. They're definitely emptier at after hours than they are at the holiday parties. Okay, so we're down to park hoppers now in the number 3 spot, and Bria and I were really torn on where to add this one. And by torn, I mean we vehemently disagree with one another. I love park hoppers. I get them all the time. I have always felt like I have more control over my vacation when I have a park hopper. Bria doesn't buy park hoppers very much. She doesn't think they're worth it. So the bottom line is there are really good arguments both for and against this service. Don't tell Bria I said that. So we're going to give you all of the details. First up, AJ, what are park hoppers? Park hoppers are an add-on feature for standard park tickets. They allow you to essentially hop between parks instead of just settling on one park per day. So here's the good part about this upgrade. If you're planning on taking a shorter Disney trip, like a weekend getaway, and you want to experience all of the parks in a short amount of time, this is a great way to achieve that. It's also a nice perk to have if you want to see as much of Disney as possible in a shorter amount of time so that you can go explore other areas around Orlando during your vacation. Park hopping can also be super convenient if you're hopping between Epcot and Hollywood Studios, since the Disney Skyliner is going to make traveling between both locations as painless and quick as possible. Park hopping can also pair well with your lightning lanes, which, spoiler alert, are going to appear later on in today's video. Because you can pre-select lightning lanes for one park ahead of your trip, but just as soon as you use your first lightning lane selection of the day, you'll be able to book a lightning lane for other rides that are still available in any park, just as long as you have park hoppers. Oh, and here's a bonus little perk for having a park hopper handy. If you're at a park that closes early, like Animal Kingdom, for instance, which typically closes a couple hours earlier than all the other parks, or Magic Kingdom if you're visiting during a holiday party day, etc., then you can use that park hopper privilege to get even more park time out of your day instead of having to call it quits earlier than you would have liked to. All you gotta do is hop over to a park that's still open and keep the good times rolling. Now, if you're still on the fence about park hoppers, that's okay. You can skip that add-on when you're purchasing your tickets before your trip, and if you change your mind and decide you want them once you're there, you can go up to any guest relations location and they'll be more than happy to upgrade your tickets for you. So here's where the downsides come into play. You don't get to choose which days you need to pay for those park hopping privileges. You'll automatically have to pay around $65 extra for each park ticket, no matter what. So if I'm visiting the parks for a 3-day visit and I only want to use park hoppers on one of those days, I'm still going to have to pay for park hoppers for all 3 days, whether I use the service on the other 2 or not. This can kind of make you feel boxed in, like you need to park hop because you've already paid for it, which ironically might mean spending less time in the parks since you're going to have to get from park to park and add that transportation time into your day. Also, while this service can be super useful for shorter trips, it's not as useful if you're about to take a week-long getaway to Disney since there's really not a huge need to invest in park hoppers. More days in Disney equals really taking your time and seeing each park on each separate day of your trip without worrying about squeezing in a lot of travel time between parks. And yeah, travel time can be a major pain that you'll want to consider. Even though Hollywood Studios and Epcot have easy access to one another, parks like Magic Kingdom to Animal Kingdom, for instance, can become a major time suck out of your day. So you'll want to plan park hopping between parks in a way that makes the most sense with your itinerary. Also, if you do get to Disney and decide you want to add park hoppers to your tickets, definitely try to do that on day 1, because if you upgrade your tickets to park hoppers halfway through your trip, you're still going to have to pay for the park hopping privilege on the days that have already gone by. So again, if I'm going to Disney World for 3 days and I decide to upgrade my park ticket to a park hopper on day 3, I still have to pay for park hoppers on days 1 and 2. Which is basically throwing money out the window. All in all, park hoppers can be extremely useful, but they can also bog down your trip if you're not careful. You just have to look over your itinerary and decide if the extra cost is going to give you the benefits you need in the end. Now, please let us know in the comments if you're Team AJ or Team Bria when it comes to park hoppers. Okay, I promised it was coming. Here it is. Let's talk lightning lanes. So, multi-pass and single pass. These have been the centerpiece of a lot of Disney discourse as of late, and if I'm not careful, I'll just go off on a lightning lane spiel and not be able to rein myself back in. So I'm not going to get into all the details of this service today, but I will give you the pros and cons of it, and then recommend that you go watch our full multi and single pass videos on our channel now. After this, if you want more of the nitty-gritty details, where we give you all the tips and all the tricks and everything we've learned since July 24th when they started this service. You can also pick up our new and totally free multi-pass/single pass lightning lane guide by scanning the QR code you see on the screen now, or by heading over to disneyfoodblog.com/multipass. This is going to give you the full lay of the lightning lane land straight to your email, so you can refer to it like a highly detailed cheat sheet before and during your Disney World vacation. Lightning Lane Multipass allows you to bypass many of Disney's standby ride lines and enter into much shorter lines instead. When purchasing Lightning Lane Multipass, you can make up to 3 Lightning Lane Multipass selections in the parks ahead of your visit. And you can continue to hold up to 3 Lightning Lane Multipass selections all day long. So right after you use a Lightning Lane, you can grab another immediately after. Those staying at a Disney World Resort hotel can purchase and select their first 3 Lightning Lane Multipasses up to 7 days in advance of their check-in day. And you can choose Lightning Lanes for every single day of your trip in that particular circumstance. While all other guests staying off property can select their first 3 Lightning Lane Multipasses 3 days in advance. Another nice perk to pre-booking your Lightning Lanes is being able to see which Lightning Lane options are still available before you purchase. So if you decide the options just aren't what you were hoping for, you can bow out of the deal and save your money for something else. Plus, unlike park hoppers, you can choose which days you want to purchase multipass for. So if you want to add this upgrade to your Hollywood Studios and Magic Kingdom days where Lightning Lanes can be the most useful, but skip it for Epcot and Animal Kingdom where it tends to not be as necessary, you can do that, no problem. Now, while Disney's multi-pass service is relatively cheaper than other express pass options you might find at other theme parks, usually Disney's costs about $15 to $39 per person per day, it can also feel more complicated, like figuring out the tiered system for ride selections, for example. At Magic Kingdom and Epcot and Hollywood Studios, from your 3 advanced selections, you may choose 1 experience from a higher tiered group and 2 experiences or all 3 from a lower tiered group. Tiers do not apply at Disney's Animal Kingdom, thank goodness. You also have to consider single pass purchases too, which is essentially a pay-per-ride service to get lightning lanes for the most popular rides. Some people really love purchasing single passes for rides like Tron in Magic Kingdom and Cosmic Rewind in Epcot because they allow you to skip over the stressful virtual queue system, since both coasters currently don't have a standby line that you can use. However, single passes can be as pricey as multi-passes, and that's just to get on one ride. So you really do have to decide if that kind of expense is worth it for just one attraction. Sometimes it is, don't get me wrong, I use them a lot. And then, once you're inside the parks and you're booking more multi-pass lightning lanes on the day of your visit, you might find that some of the more popular lightning lanes have already been all booked up for the day. Okay, I gotta wrap up this point and keep moving on, but in summary, lightning lanes are a great way to guarantee skipping some or even many of Disney's busiest ride lines, which means you have more time to just enjoy the parks and get on even more rides. But they can be pricey. They're not always necessary, and all of the different lightning lane changes can be confusing for those who are planning to use them for the first time ever, or the second time, or the 10th time. It's still confusing to me, I'll be honest. So if that's the case for you, please go check out our DFB Lightning Lane videos, because I promise we can help. Now, you might be surprised by how many dining packages you can actually secure inside the Disney bubble, but for a quick blanket description of them all, dining packages allow you to reserve a meal at a select restaurant paired with guaranteed reserved seating for a show or a Disney World nighttime spectacular. Dining packages for the park spectaculars, those are the fireworks shows usually, run year-round, while certain dining packages are offered in conjunction with performances during Epcot's 4 seasonal festivals. All right, let's dive into the Epcot Festival dining packages real quick, and then we'll talk a little more about the nighttime spectacular ones. Sounds good? Coolio. With every Epcot festival, you're going to be able to check out that festival's concert series, which brings live performances to the park, showcasing different artists and groups depending on when you visit. This could mean local talent or Broadway stars or even famous bands like The Fray, We the Kings, Smash Mouth, you name it. While some of those performances might not have too much demand, so you'll be able to walk up and find a seat in the America Gardens outdoor theater right before showtime, others have much greater demand and could book up solid before you can find a seat. In fact, the most popular concert series, Festival of the Holidays Candlelight Processional, will start forming lines for their shows a couple of hours before the performance. So if you're wanting to help guarantee your spot in the outdoor theater without all the extra waiting headache, the concert series dining packages can be really, really useful. These concert dining packages entitle guests to breakfast, lunch, or dinner at select Epcot restaurants. Usually that's going to be lunch or dinner, and include same-day reserved seating at the concert series available on the day of your visit. Each package includes an appetizer, entree, and dessert, or one full buffet where applicable, along with a non-alcoholic beverage, as well as one guaranteed seat per person in your group to a festival concert held on the same day. Pricing will vary depending on which restaurant you choose, but the highest price option is going to be for Le Cellier, which is $99 per adult. Now, you're usually going to need to book those dining packages ahead of time over on the Disney World website. However, you might find same-day dining packages being offered at Regal Eagle Smokehouse, another reason why we love this place. These packages are subject to availability and may not be available on peak days, so if getting a dining package for the Candlelight Processional is a top priority for you, I wouldn't be relying on Sam Eagle here to hook you up. That being said, if you're lucky enough to snag a same-day dining package at this quick service, this is going to be your cheapest option at $36 per adult. Now, just so you're aware, Candlelight Processional dining packages book up fast every season, so you'll need to know when those reservations are going to go live and how soon you'll be able to book them so you don't get left in the dust. We're still waiting to hear about when Candlelight Processional dining packages are going to go on sale for this holiday season, but we'll let you know through our DFB newsletter well in advance so you can have the website pulled up and ready to go once they're available to book. Meanwhile, for the nighttime spectacular dining packages, which you'll find at Hollywood Studios for VIP Phantasmic seating and Epcot for VIP luminous watching, you've got a similar setup. You'll be able to grab a meal and preferred seating for those nighttime shows. For Phantasmic, you're going to have a section of the amphitheater bleachers reserved right in the middle for optimum views, and for Luminous, you'll have premium seating right in the restaurants themselves, Rose and Crown or Spice Road table, whichever you want to choose. I'd say these dining packages are definitely about the overall experience and privilege status more than anything else, because you can definitely still see either of these shows without the dining package add-on, but there is something extra special about being able to not worry about finding a spot and just sit down and have a nice meal and enjoy a spectacular fireworks show right there. Oh, and get this, if you're using the Disney dining plan, which I'll talk more about in just a minute, a Phantasmic dining package might actually be more worth it since your table service credits can be used for a Phantasmic dining package, which is wild since a Phantasmic dining package with the Disney dining plan in tow costs the same as it would if you were not booking a dining package at those particular restaurants, but still using those DDP table service credits. So it's like getting the VIP seating for free. I love this. Anyway, it costs 1 table service credit per person if you want to book the Phantasmic dining package at Hollywood and Vine, Mama Melrose's Ristorante Italiano, Sci-Fi Dine-In, or 50s Primetime, and it's going to cost you 2 table service credits if you want to book the one for Hollywood and Vine, since that's going to be your signature location. Now, I've got something you don't have to buy, but will still upgrade your next Epcot visit. Go ahead and scan the QR code you see on the screen to pick up our free guide for how to tackle every Epcot festival, no matter which one you choose. In this guide, we're going to talk about each of the festivals and what they have to offer, what items you need to pack ahead of time, what you can expect from the Communicore Hall and Plaza, and so much more. You can also head to disneyfoodblog.com/festivals after this, and we'll still be able to send you your new free guide straight to your email faster than you can say Regal Eagle Smokehouse. All right, moving on to those backstage tours. I'd still say backstage tours are on the higher end of the worth it spectrum when it comes to Disney World upgrades, especially if you're a frequent park goer looking for something unique to do in the parks during your next visit. And these have all different price points too, which means some of them are a lot more worth it than others. Now, Disney's got quite a few backstage tour opportunities you can tack onto your park date, which you can find listed on Disney World's Enchanting Extras collection page. These tours give you an exclusive look into sections of each park that guests aren't normally allowed to see. You can scuba dive inside a tank of Epcot Seas exhibit or swim with dolphins during Dive Quest Dolphins in Depth. You can stroll through the Epcot greenhouses on the Behind the Scenes tour, which I'm smiling because I just love this tour. You can get a closer look at Animal Kingdom's elephants and rhinos during Caring for Giants and Up Close with Rhinos tour. Gain backstage access and see underground utilidors of Magic Kingdom during the Keys to the Kingdom tour. Take a private safari tour at Animal Kingdom with tapas and drinks included during Savor the Savannah. You can also take a guided Animal Kingdom expedition during the Wild Africa Trek, and there are a bunch more of these. Now, some of the prices for these tours aren't too shabby in Disney speak, with your most affordable option being the Behind the Scenes tour and the Caring for Giants and Up Close with Rhinos tours, ranging from around $39 to $49 per person. But other tours can get pretty pricey, with the most expensive ones being the Wild Africa Trek and Dive Quest at around $219 to $249 per person. And here's the kicker, you also still need to pay for a park ticket in order to get on these tours. So those tour prices are on top of whatever you have to pay for theme park admission for the day. While these tours can be an absolute blast and one for the memory books, it kind of smarts to have to pay for both the tour and the park admission, especially since your park day is going to be cut short thanks to the tour itself. Next on our list are the preferred rooms at the hotels. There are a handful of different hotel room types you can choose from across the Disney World resorts, but we're going to make things easy on you today and just focus on the basic 2, standard rooms versus preferred rooms. A standard room is going to be your most affordable option. You're basically telling Disney, hey, I just need a place to sleep and I don't really care which room you put me in, even if that means that I have a weird view or whatever, just as long as I don't have to pay more for it. Meanwhile, a preferred room is you telling Disney, you know what, I actually would prefer to be closer to my hotel's main amenities, like the resort's transportation and the lobby and the feature pools and the dining, etc. The price differences between standard rooms and preferred rooms aren't too hefty, but they can add up after a while. For example, if I book a standard room for Pop Century next year, between March 18th and March 22nd, I'll be paying around $256 per night. But if I book a preferred room instead for that exact same time frame, it's going to cost me $285 per night. When it's all said and done, my standard room is going to cost me $1,153, while my preferred room will cost me $1,286. That $133 price difference might be worth it to you, so you aren't placed all the way back in a hotel building that's far away from all your hotel's main amenities, which means a lot more walking for you each and every day. However, just remember that the closer you are to the main activities of the resort, the closer you also are to all the resort's main activity. These preferred building selections can sometimes be noisier, especially in hotels like the Contemporary Resort, where preferred rooms will put you in the main tower, super close to the monorail line, where foot traffic is more than abundant all day long. So if you like a little more peace and quiet to go along with your hotel stay, then perhaps sticking with a standard room is still the way to go. However, if you want to make sure you can easily access those main features of your hotel all trip long, especially if you're in a really big sprawling resort like Coronado Springs or Caribbean Beach or Port Orleans Riverside, then the splurge for a preferred room could be a solid investment for your group. Now we're getting to the part of the video where I feel very split down the middle when it comes to certain Disney upgrades. Disney Dining Plan, I'm talking about you. The DDP is an optional add-on to a Disney World vacation package, which allows guests to prepay for meals and snacks across Disney World. Though several versions of the plan have been available in previous years, the Quick Service Dining Plan and the Standard Dining Plan are the only two options to return in 2024. So why do some folks love the Disney Dining Plan and think it's all that in a bag of chips? Well, the biggest reason is for the sake of convenience. Since the dining plan is a prepaid option to enjoy your meals and snacks, you don't have to think about out-of-pocket costs when you dine. Essentially, with the exception of gratuities, which are not included in the Disney Dining Plan, it's as easy as showing up, chowing down, and scanning your Magic Band or Key to the World card to use your meal or snack credits. No extra brain juice necessary, and you don't have to save back a bunch of money because you have no idea what the food's going to cost you when you're there. You've already paid for it. It's done. This is also a great investment if you want to hit up a lot of character meals while using the Standard Dining Plan package. Oh, and ditto for the many all-you-care-to-enjoy meals like buffets and select family-style dining experiences like those you'll find at Ohana and Liberty Tree Tavern, which are also included on the Standard Dining Plan. These restaurants can prove to be quite pricey out of pocket, but they can really help stretch your Disney Dining Plan dollar when you've already got everything prepaid. Okay, so the DDP sounds great, right? What could possibly be wrong with more dining convenience and higher-end restaurants? Well, with that extra dining convenience also comes an overall lack of dining flexibility, especially with the Standard Dining Plan. For some folks, lining up several table service or sit-down restaurants for each day of their vacation is great. For others, it's a headache. And we're not talking about simply choosing where you'd like to eat and booking advanced dining reservations months in advance. What about when you're actually in the parks? What if you suddenly notice a low wait time for one of your must-do attractions on the My Disney Experience app, but you can't take advantage of it because you've got to go eat yet another giant plate of food at a table service restaurant? It almost starts to feel like you're a prisoner to the Disney Dining Plan, but instead of a ball and chain around your ankle, it's meal credits and sit-down restaurants weighing you down. Dramatic? Maybe a little, but I've been there and it can feel that way. Now, let's not forget one of the main arguments against the DDP. This upgrade is more of a convenience investment and not a money saver. The truth is you can dine cheaper without the dining plan and still dine very well in Disney World, which is like one of my all-time favorite topics to go on and on about. Don't forget that Disney's not going to offer something that isn't going to make them money. They have done the research. They know how much people eat in Disney World. And so they've priced the dining plan at the higher end of what people usually consume when they're on a trip to Disney. So you might find that there's a lot more food that you've already paid for than you can possibly eat, which means you don't eat it, which means Disney makes money. Now, if you're still conflicted about whether or not the Disney Dining Plan is the right fit for you, we've got a fully detailed guide over on dfbstore.com that'll not only help you maximize this upgrade if you do choose to buy it, but will also help you determine once and for all if it makes sense for your family. If you eat a lot of lobster and a lot of steak and you definitely want to have a table service meal every single day, then this could make sense for you. But if you'd rather have a little more flexibility with your dining options and maybe you don't need quite that much food, then it's a good choice to really think about it before you buy. So go check out that guide. Again, it's at dfbstore.com. It's our Disney Dining Plan guide. It helps you figure out if it makes sense for you to buy it. Use code YouTube to check out so you can save money on that digital guidebook purchase. Number 9 on our list is Memory Maker. I know there are lots of you who would place Memory Maker way higher on the list, and that's because Disney's Memory Maker packages allow you to own and download all of those professionally taken Disney PhotoPass pictures and attraction photos that you pose for throughout the Disney World parks and resorts. Basically, all those on-ride photos you look at after the ride, or all those pictures you see guests taking with PhotoPass photographers in front of Cinderella Castle or around other iconic Disney areas. Yep, you get those, all of them, for one flat fee. But that fee is pretty pricey. If you purchase Memory Maker in advance, you're looking at spending an extra $185. And if you wait to purchase it after your trip or even in the middle of your trip, you're looking at spending an extra $210. Now, you do have the option to only pay for Memory Maker for one day, but that's still going to put you back $75. When you purchase Memory Maker, there's this obligation you might feel to take as many photos as you can to get your money's worth out of the service. And that can be a good thing, but can also be a bad thing. It's good because, much like paying for a gym membership because you feel like you'll be more inclined to use it if you do, you'll be able to collect so many pictures of your friends and family all trip long to look back on years and years down the line. You can also update your mantle photo frames with them, or make all those digital downloads into a 12-month calendar and give them as Christmas gifts, or both. Those digital downloads are yours for life once you buy them. However, it's bad because, also like paying for a gym membership, you may pay the fee and not use the service more than a couple of times, leaving you wondering, why did I feel like I needed this? The thing is, it can be kind of difficult to continually convince your kids to stop everything you're doing in Disney World to wait in line for yet another picture. And by the end of the night, those pictures of everyone are just not going to capture the best sides. At least, never does for me. End of night photo ops of yours truly look sweaty and disheveled like a troll who needs to return to the bridge from whence it came. Now, instead, you can pay for individual PhotoPass pictures if you end up finding one or two pop up on your My Disney Experience app that you want to keep after your trip. Photo downloads are about $18.95 for a set of 2 4x6 prints or 1 5x7, or $20.95 for 1 8x10. Not to mention, each day you purchase a multi-pass, you'll receive complimentary downloads of all your on-ride PhotoPass pictures for the day. Not the ones where you're standing all pretty in front of the Tower of Terror, but the ones where you're screaming and panicking inside the Tower of Terror. That one's free. And for an even cheaper picture option, you're totally allowed to go up to your PhotoPass cast member and ask if they can take a picture of your group with your phone for free, and they will happily do so. Just be mindful of each cast member's time. They're not going to be able to do a whole mini photo shoot with your iPhone or anything like that, but they can definitely grab some super cute shots in front of the Tree of Life or Cinderella's Wishing Well or a number of other iconic theme park spots for $0 and 0 cents. And you get to keep those photos for life as well. Okay, this next one is another one where Bria and I kind of differ. I'm sometimes inclined to buy this and she is not, but less so than the park hoppers, I think. This is preferred parking. Preferred parking is exactly what it sounds like. You can pay extra to get a spot closer to the park entrance. And yeah, that sounds pretty nice in theory, especially on those super long days when the last thing you want to do is walk back to your car. But it's not always worth it. For starters, if you're staying as a guest at a Disney-owned hotel, but you're planning on driving yourself to the parks each day, standard parking is free. By investing in preferred parking, you're looking at splurging an extra $15 to $25 per day, depending on the season. And if you're a non-Disney hotel guest who's going to be driving in each day, standard parking is going to cost you $30 per day or $45 to $50 per day if you choose the preferred. If you arrive at the park, any of the parks, when they first open, more than likely, you'll probably still end up parking fairly close to the preferred parking spaces without having to pay extra. And if you don't, trams exist in these lots, my friends, so you don't have to walk all those extra steps from your car to the park entrance and back again. The trams will take you to and from your vehicle if you want to wait for them, which usually isn't too long of a wait. And when you pay for preferred parking at Magic Kingdom, you're really not getting your money's worth here because you're still going to have to park over at the Transportation and Ticket Center and not in front of the park itself. So you're still going to have to take the monorail or ferry just like everyone else. That said, if you pay for preferred parking at one park, you get it at any other park you hop to that day. So that's a plus at least. Number 11 on our list, Magic Band Plus. Back in 2022, Disney released this brand new Magic Band style called Magic Band Plus that promised new technology to help make your park visits even more immersive. We're talking personal light-up shows on your wrist to go along with the nighttime fireworks or the rides. You can become a bounty hunter in Galaxy's Edge and interact with different touch points around the parks to unlock sounds and haptic vibrations. And I guess in a way, Magic Band Plus does make your park visit a little more immersive in those regards, but it really doesn't feel super necessary. A regular Magic Band is pretty pricey as is, but a Magic Band Plus is even more so, with prices starting at $35 per band, with the ability to get as high as $60 plus depending on the design you choose. And really, what you're paying extra for here are those little light up and vibrating functions. Otherwise, these bands do the exact same thing that the regular Magic Bands do, like hold on to your park tickets, your lightning lanes, your room keys, your dining reservations, etc. One of the biggest downsides of Magic Band Plus is that you have to charge them each night, because if your battery runs out, then all those extra Plus features won't even work for you, and you're basically just using a regular Magic Band at that point. Plus, I'm going to be honest with you, every time I've worn a Magic Band Plus, it hasn't really worked. Like, I haven't been able to get the stuff that's supposed to make it light up and vibrate and stuff to actually do what it's supposed to do. And it just kind of keeps vibrating. I just kind of stopped looking at it after a while because I never really understood what it was vibrating to or what it was doing. So I was just like, okay, this is useless. So that's my thought on Magic Band Plus. I bought one and I'll never buy another one. Now, at the end of the day, only you can decide if Magic Band Plus is worth it for you. Maybe it works better for you than it does for me. You can always save money by reusing old Magic Bands from past trips, or you can skip using Magic Bands altogether and just use your My Disney Experience app and Magic Mobile feature, which does pretty much everything a standard Magic Band can do for free. Okay, number 12 is the only thing that's on our do not buy list. Everything else, there's pros and cons. Now, Park Hopper Plus, I just don't know why you'd get this. If you want to get Park Hopper Plus for each of your park tickets, those are going to work similarly to those regular Park Hoppers, but instead of paying $65 per ticket per day for your entire trip, you're going to pay $85. So what does the Plus represent? Not only will you be able to jump between multiple parks each day, you get that for a regular Park Hopper fee, but you'll also receive a number of plus-up opportunities equal to your number of park ticket days. For example, let's say I have a 4-day park ticket. The Park Hopper Plus is going to give me 4 visits to one of their premium experiences, such as one of their water parks, Blizzard Beach or Typhoon Lagoon, 1 round of golf at Disney's Oak Trail Golf Course, 1 round of mini golf at either Winter Summerland or Fantasia Gardens, and that's pretty much it. But here's the thing. Each of these experiences costs less than $85 if you just want to pay for them outright. I mean, the mini golf courses cost $19 per adult and $12 per kid, so that's already less than the extra that it's going to cost you to get a plus on your Park Hopper. Not to mention, if you're planning on going to Disney World in 2025 and staying at one of the Disney World resorts while you're there, then on the day of your hotel arrival, you'll be able to get into one of the Disney water parks for free. So you really won't need to spend extra to visit one of those. So don't force yourself to purchase a Park Hopper for these plus-up benefits. Instead, pay for the type of park tickets you need and save back a little extra in your budget just in case you want to tack on these other premium Disney experiences without spending a whole lot of extra money on Park Hopper Plus. Okay, I don't want the conversation to stop here, folks. You know that Bria and I are talking about this stuff late into the night. There are so many more Disney upgrades we could rank in the future, so let me know which upgrades you want to learn even more about. Things like VIP tours or concierge or club level rooms. All of that kind of stuff, dining at the super fancy restaurants. Or tell me how you would have ranked some of these add-ons down in the comments. And don't forget to pick up our free Epcot Festival Guide over at disneyfoodblog.com/festivals. Thanks for listening, everyone, and thanks for watching. As always, this is AJ for Disney Food Blog, and we'll see you real soon.